Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the webinar titled Now is the Time for SSCs to Embrace Digital Automation, presented by Newgen Software, a leading provider of digital process automation, content services, and customer communication management platform with a multitude of SSC implementations across the globe. I'm Gunjan Kalita, and I shall be your host and a moderator for this webinar. Today, we have Tim Trainer, Newgen's VP of Channel and Strategic Sales for the Americas, and S. Sriram, who heads Newgen's Global SSC practices as our speakers. At the end of the presentation, we'll be having a question and answer session. We request all of you to type your questions in the question window of your GoToWebinar anytime. I shall take them up at the end of the session with our experts. With that, I hand it over to Sriram.
Yeah, thanks, Gunjan. Very good morning, afternoon to everyone. I thank you all for taking your time out and joining this webinar today. I sincerely hope that this and the following session will add value to your existing thought process. Let me move on with my slide deck, more of a consultative pitch on how shared service or digital automation goes on. As we all know, the fundamental building blocks of any shared services organization are simplified processes, reliable services, superior customer experience, customers' clients' experiences, and much more. Also, many of us aim at value-driven processes that result in better recognition, continuous process improvements, and innovation from a larger perspective within the shared services as an organization. While there has been an urge always to make the shared services big in all aspects, the building blocks are often jumbled, leading to unwelcome challenges. Complex manual processes bring their own challenges of high turnaround time, more than expected operational costs, which are directly related to the cost of resources and indirectly to the risks of manual processing and subsequent reconciliations. Lack of audit and compliance comes with its own risk of non-operational costs. And last but not the least, the lack of contextual automation does not help us scale, as many of the growth factors limp due to poor execution. Add this to the challenges of remote working due to COVID kind of scenarios. Gone are the days when we used to think more of features, functionalities, assuming everything is in-house and secure. Today, we have survived and ensured business continuity. Over the last 5 to 6 months, we have ensured that business as usual has been maintained. We have overcome the challenges of COVID by breaking boundaries of risks, remote working models, and more. We are proud of our achievements in ensuring business as usual, despite unknown and unplanned hurdles, right from business operations to information technology to legal compliances. So what is next? Should we wait for another unplanned, uninformed, and unforeseen asteroid? Obviously, we may not be able to fully shield ourselves from such scenarios. However, our preparedness towards risks will enable us to sail through smoothly in times of distress. We hear your thoughts. We hear your thoughts. Yes, we have to transform our shared services with consistency, increased operational responsiveness, and business agility so that we can thwart all the risks which are known and unknown that are going to hit us in the future. We should enable dynamically scalable operations in all scenarios. And not to forget, we have to take care of the stakeholders' delight, more from an experience perspective. We need to start a journey of continuous improvement with a motto of run better and run different. And to achieve all this, we need to embrace digital. Digital is going to show the way forward. Digital is going to lead from the front in thwarting the risks. Digital is our Avengers. And digital is coming with a purpose. The purpose is to enable a digital workplace, to enable seamless compliance to all our business practices, to enable scalability on technology, business, operations, and much more, to enable flexibility in adapting to newer challenges in the new world order, and to enable orchestration of standard operating procedures, the so-called SOPs, through streamlined processes. And all these are going to deliver your vision, the vision of shared services, the purpose of automation, the sheer eternal existence of shared service as a model, the breadth of shared services, which are the KPIs which directly get related to cost and other factors that also influence the cost. And how these KPIs are going to enable shared services is by streamlining the operations, people, processes, applications, and a host of participatory frameworks. KPIs are going to mature themselves from time to time and enable continuous improvement and help us march faster and better. While talking about KPIs, I'm sure all of you will be keen to know what others are doing in similar space in other shared services, maybe equivalent size of ours or the best of the shared services that are across the globe. There are analysts who are doing research and coming up with industry statistics and leading KPI matrices, predominantly called as the best practices across the shared services, right? So how much close we are to the said industry benchmarks will help us understand how far are we than the industry benchmarks, as well as how far we have to travel more so that we are in the industry league of shared services. For example, let me talk about AQPC. AQPC says that the best of the shared services complete their invoice posting within 2 days of receipt. This could become a realistic benchmark for us to chase as part of our digital automation initiative. There are plenty of industry benchmarks available as part of AQPC, SSON, Everest Group, and a lot of consulting organizations have come out with many of the industry best practices. Right? We can take some of them as our KPIs and look at how we can visualize the shared service model that we are going to implement. And most importantly, how do we mature to outperform these industry benchmarks so that we move from being leaders to evangelists, where we try to dictate what is the best practice many other shared services should follow. The first and the most important aspect to improve our KPI is of a tool that helps us in visualizing what is going on. Identify the bottlenecks and create insight to improve or upgrade to the next level. This leads us to the topic of digital automation in shared services. How does digital automation transform SSCs? Is it at a rocket speed, or is it at a graded approach? All that depends on the levels of automation we plan. A guided scale approach will ensure moving from one maturity level to another with ease. And whatever it may be, the digital technologies are going to be a key enabler. First step is about ensuring reliability through establishing effective digital automation tools for basic operations and standardizing processes. Moving towards agility through bringing efficiency as part of process automation would be the second level of maturity. Moving towards scalability and adaptation would be the third level of maturity. Here, the focus is more on bottom line of the business by reducing the overall cost of operations and hence the transactions, thereby improving the operating margins of the business. The last but not the least is on scaling up to the market leadership. In this maturity level, we outperform and redefine our KPIs and move from operational matrices to outcome-based KPIs. We become part of the organization and partner in the business, as well as be a partner in the key decision-making aspects of the business. The drive from basic to leadership is achieved by incrementally including digital technologies to value add key criteria between one level to the other. Now that we have our maturity level and we have defined our vision, mission, and strategy for achieving the next level of maturity stages, we need a catalyst to convert our dreams. The strategy driven by outcomes are ends of the vision cycle. We definitely need a bridge, a digital automation bridge, a catalyst that will push the vision through a funnel to convert the vision into outcomes. And these digital technologies, represented primarily by ECM, the content management, complex event processing through business process management, robotic process automation, mobility, analytics, a content extraction, digital sensing, and much more are going to play a key aspect or key role in the automation of shared services. Before we jump into digital process maturity, including low code, the first and foremost thought everyone gets is about digital technologies. There is always a thought on core applications like ERP and extending the same for the digital automation within shared services. Yes, this is also part of digital tools. However, these are more, the automation as part of ERP are more from data sanctity purposes and more aligned to the departmental activities and focused more on data and factual reporting. A little contradiction to the SSC mode of operation is on how the business scope or the operational model gets adapted is to be seen. SSCs work on factual data as well as suspects, which indirectly makes some operational activities beyond the scope of ERPs. Also, workflows are more rudimentary and gets repeated based on the interfaces. This increases the delivery timelines and subsequent need for change management if the automation happens as part of the ERPs. In contrary, the digital tools that help SSCs attain maturity complement the ERP functionalities and automate manual silos of activities and bring an end-to-end business process automation completely mapped to the standard operating procedures or the business flows than the departmental flows. Digital tools help in consolidation of identical processes, create a robust exception management for understanding the bottlenecks, increase visibility, and deliver liability reporting even before transactions hit ERP. Having said so much about digital automation and digital tools, let us look at what workplace do these achieve for SSC automation. A multi-channel source acquisition model, any source, be it physical document, emails, portals, FTPs, application-based initiations or mobile, it should get enabled. A robust content management to handle documents, images, support for documents, online and offline communications for audit purposes, standard templates for outgoing emails, alerts, notifications, and beyond that. A seamless integration with any application to bring a consolidated and one-stop interface for users to complete their activity rather than the time-consuming switching between applications to complete a transaction, which again may lead to human errors. A rich user experience for users to complete their tasks as applicable and at the fastest time possible. This includes information shown as part of the user interfaces so that the activity can be completed at the fastest possible time, which is the talk of the industry 4.0 standards today, which we talk about as the more of informed decision making. So the system should be able to enable informed decision making aspect. From a compliance and personalization perspective, an integrated solution for an environment where processes drive people as per the operational model, thus reducing non-compliances and audit errors. Quality control center enabling graded awareness towards straight-through processing, leading to touchless processing. A dynamic business activity monitor for real-time anytime view of transaction status that allows top-down approach through multi-level drill downs for faster operational actions, and a personalized landing page based on a role for better planning and execution. Moving ahead, a process-centric environment where processes and activities enable people to do their work, moving away from people-based activities to process-based activities. And of course, a slew of features to take shared services to the next level, like faster onboarding of people, processes, entities due to mergers and acquisition, and much more. All said so far is a automation on how business processes gets transformed technically into the shared service, which is also called as process orchestration. We digitally move or consolidate processes onto a platform so that the pains of the underlying applications are removed and the shared services transform themselves between the maturities that we spoke about earlier. Process orchestration is the art of complying to the business and operational SOPs, standard operating procedures, technically within the shared services. Process orchestration reflects the maturity of the shared services, as discussed in the previous slides. A graded approach and a continuous improvement on the orchestrated process is what the digital tools enable. The focus while orchestrating processes include one system approach for enabling faster onboarding through application consolidation, intuitive interfaces, while ensuring and protecting data of core applications like ERPs, and much more than that. Digital automation also helps in reaching beyond the traditional operational boundaries of shared services. As we all know, for every activity that happens out of the shared services, there are internal and external stakeholders. When I say internal, we mean the internal stakeholders within the shared services and internal stakeholders within the retained organization and external stakeholders who are the clients of our client or the retained organization. Majority of the digital automation is for disciplining internal stakeholders and trying to work around on the external factors that influence operations within the shared services. Gamification looks at redefining this engagement with internal and the external stakeholders both, with a positivity built in. The positivity helps the stakeholders reap the benefit of being disciplined or adhering to the expectations by ways of rewarding, and internally, they result in huge cost savings. Gamification for employees can be on productivity and can be extended to the appraisals, while gamification on vendors and agencies for providing non-erroneous transactions resulting in first-time right scenarios could be a talking point. This indirectly increases the productivity or per person productivity in a significant manner, resulting in reduced time and hence cost of operation. A portion of this cost savings can be shared back for the good behavior, which could help in a win-win scenario across all. So the gamification is on how we can redefine our engagement with the internal stakeholders as well as our external stakeholders. Having said all this, we have so many options to choose from that when we say digital, everything is digital. So digital solutions or tools come in their own flavor, right? We talk about many type of solutions that are available in the market today, COTS or off-the-shelf kind of things as well. Each one of them have their pros and cons. Every product company or every company innovates based on their needs and creates solutions which often become products which may or may not be the right fit for every one of us. So let us look at what those options are. Buying is an easy option with ready-made functionality similar to ERP, which takes care of the specific functional automations. However, how much do they satisfy our needs versus the adaptability of business with less of change management needs to be carefully considered. Building a solution from scratch that is designed to the exact business requirements may be the best of the option, as long as the turnaround is as per the business expectations or market expectations. Also worth considering is the continuous upgrade or roadmap which does not become a pain for us in the long run. Hybrid or platform or a semi-built solution incorporating the best practices and best of technologies with an adaptive framework for localizing as per business needs may be a game changer. This will bring a solution that is best of both the worlds, making it a win-win for all of us. In our experience, a 5-step approach will help organizations select the right model for digital automation or digital transformation. A timeline for adoption is a key driver as the forces of change are from outside of the organization, which is nothing but the market. So we are a market-driven business. We have to be very careful with what the market needs and how do we adapt to the market requirements. With dynamic business environment, we should look at optimized time to roll out the solution so that the business does not get outdated by the time rollout happens. It will be great if the solution is futuristic driven with high level of configuration. Risk identification and mitigation is another key factor from audit, compliance, and penalties point of view. By adapting to a pre-built solution, it should not be that we are compromising on the internal standard operating procedures or the business needs. More the deviation, more will be the risks, and more will be the cost of operations. Making the solution to comply with our internal SOPs should not become a time-consuming affair or should not isolate us from the generics of that product. This will make upgrades and scalability a cumbersome affair or costlier than the original cost of procurement or sourcing. Capability matrix with respect to our business and IT vision drives the TCO initially, the total cost of ownership of owning those applications initially. And of course, over a period of time with the change management and maintenance aspects coming in. Quick wins on automation should not lead us to a trap of owning a giant monster, which eats up a lot of resources and costs in the long run. While the solutions may satisfy the current needs, it should not be that scalability to other upcoming business areas are not possible and does not get outdated on technology. If that happens, then for every requirement, we may end up in adding solution along with the resources like infrastructure, which at the end will result in costly enterprise TCO. Value benefit analysis may play a key role. The focus should be more on the tangible and intangible benefits we saw in the earlier slides. Their visualization and realization is more important to getting the right return on investment, which we are going to talk as the next point. Return on investment is another important parameter, not the least, but a 3 to 5 year TCO or ROI on enterprise automation would give a clear picture on the cost benefit analysis for solutions that may support long-term objectives, including possible change management. Even Gartner, in its hyper-automation research, talks about changing scope of automation from discrete tasks to knowledge work, resulting in business outcomes. To conclude on this particular choice of choosing the right digital solution tool, digital tools provide a hybrid model with semi-built templates, scores of features to right fit for business, and enable continuous scalability along with enterprise automation. So it is worthwhile to look for a platform-based model of automation so that it helps in continuous scalability, which is primary driver of SSC automation. Let me talk about some success as part of digital transformation. The client, which we are going to talk about, did an independent assessment of the shared service automation through one of the big 4 consulting organizations. And the output is what you are seeing. The results are more eye-opening than just the numbers. At 135% ROI over a 3-year period, a savings of 1.6 million US dollars, a 21% reduction in invoice processing costs, and much more. These are the very high level, benefits of digital automation that this organization got as part of the transformation. Let me also talk about another case study that is more aligned to the vision and strategic outcomes expected from automation. That is what we have been speaking about, KPIs. This study is about a shared service that that does the operations for their parent organization, which runs across the globe, operations across the globe. The key result areas that this client was able to achieve are far beyond even the best practices prevalent in the industry, as we saw in the earlier slides. We saw that the best of the organizations process their invoice in 2 days' time. And this particular client, the average processing time is less than 1 day, which is better, far better, or 100% better than the industry benchmark of 2 days. An innovative source handling mechanism has ensured 60% of the transactions clear processing without exceptions. Remember, I was talking about gamification. This first time right scenario gives the business more predictability in the sense that their cash flow statements are available to them on the very next day so that they can plan out their cash flow and other liabilities for the subsequent buckets of days without even looking at the ERPs, because the posting to ERPs might be a little bit delayed for some of the cases. This helps the business take decisions much faster as part of their operations, as well as they are able to take finite decisions or informed decisions because of the efficient first time pass rates. What we also implemented was a highly efficient process with minimum human intervention, which increased the average team productivity from mere 50 to 55% to more than 90% across the teams. And not the least, but a key driver of cost reduction, the average productivity, right, which is what we are talking about, was brought in so that the cost of per transaction is brought down drastically as part of the automation. This is also because of the multi-skilling that we did, because they had multiple ERPs, we brought them into a single common platform. And also uni-skilling so that the time to onboard people onto the processing environment were much faster. And trust me, this is not a small processing center. They handle more than 15,000 transactions per day and service their clients across the globe. The reason I chose to present the above two case studies are to give you a view of how digital transformation can beat the blues out of COVID kind of scenario in ensuring business continuity as well as drive the business outcomes. Let me also give you a virtual shared service on how it got established, even without knowing such a scenario is going to come. The case is about a retail biggie in West Asia or Gulf region. The process automation is done across multiple ERPs to achieve standardization across groups and entities. As you can see, the integration factor has been considered. It is through APIs, web services, and including pods to ensure that the overall objective of shared service automation, bringing in agility, has been taken care, irrespective of the nature of interactions or integrations that could happen with the ERPs. The user experience does not change because of ERP, as well as there is a complete shielding of ERP exposure. The user layer is taken over by the digital tool, which has got extended beyond the traditional devices to enable work from anywhere. So it takes care of all the nuances of virtual working and brings in a unified framework to ensure that people can work from anywhere, anytime, any mode, and across any devices. You name it, it is a concept of build once and deliver across devices. So there is no excuse of non-performing or not completing the activity on time. The digital tools not only help in automating shared services, but also enable shared services to automate the enterprise processes. This helps in shared services moving ahead from typical transaction processing back offices to a place where it becomes an advisory or a custodian of all the standard operating procedures or business flows of the parent organization. The the processes that can be automated are unlimited as part of the platform capabilities, right from finance, logistics, procurement, HR, admin, marketing, sales, post-sales, legal, contracts, others, something like the compliance and litigations. You talk about core production related, or you talk about manufacturing and post-service scenarios. The automation is endless and each one delivers benefits that are either tangible or intangible. Just to recap on our discussion so far, digital automation is with a purpose, and the purpose should be supported by a vision and mission along with a steady part of maturity. We spoke about the tangible and intangible benefits and how these benefits are brought in as part of the digital automation tools. However, the outcome of digital automation should focus on predictability of transactions, timely decision making at every level, and being responsive and participatory in the business objectives. SSCs should make business finite and more predictable so that business can take a lot of informed decisions. With that, I complete my presentation. I hope the content has been of use to you, all of you. I now hand it over back to Gunjan. Anyway, I'll be here for questions you may have at the end of the presentation, which Gunjan will come back to all of you after this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sriram. That was an insightful view on why now is truly the right time for SSCs to embrace digital automation. Now, it is over to Tim to take us through Newgen's offerings for SSCs. And Tim, over to you.
And let me see if I can advance this. Okay. Businesses today are more than ever focused on servicing their customers with speed and agility. They want to make sure they're giving their customers a service that's proactive, relevant, consistent, and personalized. In businesses in the COVID and post-COVID area, and I certainly hope we're in post-COVID, are intensely focusing on improving the customer service experiences and journeys. Customers too have evolved in their expectations and are demanding a higher level of service from all of their suppliers. Yet as business conditions change, customers' expectations also change. Being agile, businesses can respond in a more timely manner to these changes, giving better service to customers and internal constituents. One way of doing that is by digitizing, and automating the business processes, content, and communications. This has been an evolution over many years. In the early days, the focus was on cost optimization. We heard questions like, how can we streamline our business costs and expenses without necessarily focusing on the efficiency or customer? Later, organizations would strive to increase their efficiency. How can we do more with less? How can we do better with less? How can we increase the productivity for internal workers? Again, this is done without necessarily being concerned about the end customer, the experience he might have been having. As new technologies such as machine learning, artificial intelligence, predictive analytics became available, the focus shifted toward intelligent automation. And this gave the business more insights into their customers and created a stepping stone for increasing customer experience, which is where we find ourselves today. The industry has been talking about customer journeys and experience for the last several years, but with COVID, this has taken on an entirely new meaning. So what exactly is a customer experience and how can you influence it? Customer experiences are a collection of impressions that your customers form through every interaction with you and your organization for every stage of their buyer journey. And the sum effect of these experiences determine how satisfied your customer is. And that in turn impacts how long they stay with you, how much they spend, and ultimately it impacts your profitability. Customer experience management begins with looking at what your customers expect, how you're able to deliver against those expectations, what systems, processes, and content are required to satisfy those expectations. Negative experiences often cause customers to abandon transactions and vendors completely. This too has an adverse effect on profitability. And another factor that enters into the equation here is that the customer's expectations are changing. These can be based on market dynamics, environmental factors such as COVID, mandatory stay-at-home regulations, and competition. The more consumers deal with organizations that offer multi-channel experiences and high customer experience, the less likely they are to want to deal with those organizations that don't. And agility is key for companies to respond to shifting market dynamics and consumer expectations in real time. Sriram talked about agility. Business agility is not just fast decision making, it involves having the systems and infrastructure in place with intelligent business processes that meet and exceed customer demands. It also means that businesses need to communicate with consumers across a wider range of channels, like social media, text messaging, email, through chatbots, even through customer portals. Not every organization is equipped to do this. According to Gartner, they believe that about 81% of the customer experience officers believe that customer experience will become a competitive differentiator by 2021. It is right now. Due to the high cost of new customer acquisitions compared to retain happy, satisfied customers, Gartner predicts that delivering superior customer experiences will increase customer retention, which is a good thing, and therefore influence long-term profitability by as much as an 85% profit growth. Gartner also predicts that within the next year, the market demand for application development is going to grow significantly faster than industry's capacity to deliver it. Most businesses have multiple legacy applications that require significant support and coding. This effort reduces the amount of time and focus that organizations can invest in the agility required to deliver superior customer experiences. The priorities for businesses are rapidly changing. Since the onset of COVID, the number one business priority is no longer doing things faster or more efficiently. Rather, the number one priority has become business continuity. And from a technology perspective, many organizations were prepared for having remote workers continue their work from home, but most organizations were not. We saw significant business disruption while IT organizations tried to open their systems and networks without compromising their security. Many failed. Considerations such as security and compliance often prevented users from being able to effectively work from home to conduct their routine tasks. Business processes and available workflows were not designed for operating over VPNs and available technology. Disaster recovery, business continuity plans, and general backups have become quite challenging. On a different front, we've seen a shift where people outside of the IT organizations are getting involved with selecting systems and technology to help improve customer experience. Innovative organizations can have CEOs, marketing executives, chief revenue officers, and operations people all equally interested in identifying technology to help keep their part of the business running. The situation is even becoming more challenging since different people in the organization may or may not have access to any of the documents and materials required to do their work. Organizations want to move fast while being differentiated. The motivation then is becoming a focused form of digital first. The amount of digital transformation in the past 5 months, just since the beginning of this year, since COVID, has been as much as over the last several years worldwide. The following 4 items are key things that all organizations are looking for today. First, organizations are looking for rapid application development. By this, I mean looking for applications that from conception to rollout is a matter of weeks or months as opposed to quarters and years. This also extends to using non-IT citizen developers or subject matter experts to develop applications under the guidelines and auspices of IT. Second, the enterprise should be able to communicate with its customers through the customer's channel of choice. Some people may initiate a transaction from a mobile device, be interrupted, then wish to continue and complete the transaction from a desktop or tablet, while others may prefer to go through a portal. No matter which channel the customers use, the organization should be able to address their needs and requirements quickly and easily. Third, at the back end, organizations want more than just digital process automation. Organizations want intelligent processes that may be self-learning, employ artificial intelligence, harness the power of robotics process automation, and permit a greater connection to all internal sources of information and systems supporting the customer's business. This level of hyper-automation results in greater speed and agility for the organization, more informed decision-making, and better customer experiences for the consumers. Last, contextual information refers to every user at every stage of the business process having access to all of the information to better understand why a process was initiated, what has taken place, who has done what, and to be able to access information supporting decisions that have been made. I ask you, take just a moment and think about your own organization. What would be the impact on both your organization and your customers' experiences if powerful new applications could be built in days, weeks, or just a few months without taxing your IT organization? Suppose further that irrespective of what channel your customers choose to deal with you, their experiences could be seamless, quick, easy, and empowered by the latest available technologies such as RPA, machine learning, AI, and even predictive analytics. And every one of your customers could have, and you and the people dealing with your customers could have all the information that they need at their fingertips at the moment they needed it. Can you imagine how that could significantly change your organization and everybody's experience? There are reasons why that doesn't happen. There are numerous reasons, and we've selected 3 of the most common roadblocks that I'll share with you right now. These include, first off, a lack of contextual engagement. And if you look back historically, over time, organizations have implemented different manual and digital processes and systems for addressing departmental level activities. When the information that employees need to service their customers is distributed throughout multiple systems, spreadsheets, or file cabinets, the employees may not have access to the contextual information to deliver a great customer experience for their consumer. And this issue has been exacerbated during COVID, when employees have been unable to easily or seamlessly work between and among the various systems from their homes. Second, information silos. Many organizations have established their IT landscape one project, one system at a time, oftentimes intending to address one sole pain point with each system. As a result, these landscapes frequently contain multiple point solutions with different data repositories, user interfaces. Information can't be shared or accessed in real time, resulting in delays that negatively affect the experience of users and customers. And third, most IT organizations have a backlog of projects maintaining and servicing existing applications, and they do not have the bandwidth to re-architect applications that focus on increasing customer service. Also, not every system will lend itself to citizen developers. Therefore, there's a high dependency on IT that inhibits or delays this movement toward improving customer experience. I think we can all relate to that. Newgen's digital automation platform is one solution that's in operation at over 150 shared service organizations, and that allows organizations to contextualize information and content to simplify business processes and accelerate time to market and value. This platform allows organizations to implement end-to-end customer journeys that work the way you want to, and with all the information you need to understand all aspects of the processes. This results in faster overall processing, shorter response time, and greater experiences. The best part is that Newgen's low-code approach allows organizations to develop multi-channel solutions that deliver a unified experience across multiple geographies, currencies, and languages. This is common amongst every one of the shared service organizations that we deal with. And since this is a low-code approach, these solutions can be set up and running before many competitive solutions have even completed their conceptual designs. Newgen's low-code automation platform includes intelligent process automation, contextualized content, and interactive communications that are all built together that are able to connect to all of your legacy systems throughout your organization and employ the latest technologies such as RPA, cloud deployments, predictive analytics, machine learning, AI, single sign-on to automate complex processes for approximately 20 different industries. And we find shared services spanning many of these different industries. Using this platforms, organizations are able to interact with their customers and internal constituents over social media, through web portals, over mobile devices, desktops, in person with tellers, even via the internet or email. This platform both connects people and processes throughout the enterprise and transforms the experience for customers, vendors, and internal stakeholders. So how does Newgen stand out from the other vendors in the industry? Good question. Newgen offers a single unified platform that enables users to see any information related to the processes that they're working on and integrated into supporting systems so that they can see all the intelligence that is allowing from one user interface. Newgen has dedicated centers of excellence that we've worked with over 150 shared service organizations all over the world. And this experience helps our customers and our organizations get the knowledge that's been attained from doing this. Newgen's digital automation platform can be used for very simple straight-through processes or very sophisticated processes that contain complex business rules based on internal and external factors, parallel routes, and advanced decisioning. And last, this platform is a result of nearly 3 decades of continuous improvement of the core software elements, all designed and developed by Newgen. And low code is just the latest of many market-leading features inherent in Newgen's platform. This graphic represents Newgen's low-code application development platform. And you can see that on top of the platform at the bottom level are 3 boxes, and these boxes represent the content, contextual content services that allows us to manage all structured and unstructured content, intelligent digital process automation that can be used for managing structured processes as well as ad hoc collaborative processes. And the third is an omni-channel customer communications module that allows your organization to utilize any information coming from any connected data source and the organization to communicate with customers or internal stakeholders. This low-code application platform will integrate with the organization's IT landscape such that information can be delivered from or through multiple channels to employees, customers, and partners. And this particular platform is in operation in approximately 70 countries, about 150 shared service organizations, over 500 currently active customers, and approximately 1,500 implementations. And each of the components of our solution have been designed by Newgen, and they operate seamlessly with each other, as well as with legacy applications in your IT landscape. The individual components of our platform have been recognized by Gartner. The ECM engine has been recognized as a challenger and a niche player over the last couple of years, and Forrester recognized our ECM and our BPM both as strong performers and leaders. So very quickly, in summary here, We have 20 years experience in the shared services industry with over 150 accounts spanning about 70 countries. And the industries that we've catered to include manufacturing, trade finance, pharma, government, healthcare, insurance. And these are just some of the examples. And these are some of our blue label logos who have all decided to standardize on us. Many of them started off in ERP, and they looked at invoice processing, they looked at AP automation, and then moved from there and added on other applications as their needs and requirements grew. So I hope that you now see that we have the experience and the knowledge, and we would like to become your trusted enterprise automation partner. We have a complete suite of technologies, including content processing, communications, coupled with deep domain knowledge and experience with world-leading organizations and proven partnerships with world-leading systems integrators, as well as our own professional service delivery teams to help our customers design and develop and implement rich solutions. These solutions deliver the promise of optimizing your costs, streamlining complex business processes across multiple geographies, and delivering significant productivity improvements to your own internal users while enriching the experiences of all involved. So with this, I'm going to pass this back to Gunjan. I hope we've been able to add some value and insights for you. But Gunjan, I'll turn it over to you for the last 6 minutes for questions and answers.
Thank you, Tim and Sriram. So we do have some questions from the audience. Let me take them up one by one. So the first question here is for Sriram. And the question is digital automation a must for every SSC?
Oh, yeah, absolutely not. It is not mandatory for digital automation to be carried out at shared service, or it is not mandatory for SSC operations. It is also not mandatory to go for the digital automation tools as part of SSC transformation. However, to achieve the industry standard cost of operations, implement best practices for scalability and maturing the models, and also moving the shared service from a mere cost center to a profit center, digital tools become mandatory. If you look at across the globe, shared services use digital automation tools to exceed expectations and dynamically scale. Hence, it becomes imperative that these digital automation tools are primary enablers for a successful shared service. The option is for us whether to embrace digital automation tools or to look for other areas to improve the operational aspects. But universally, digital automation tools have delivered results, and that's what we are harping on.
I think that answers the question brilliantly. Next question is for Tim. There are a number of very well-known low-code BPM vendors out there in the market. So what do you think makes Newgen different or better than them?
Great question. There are a lot of really good vendors out there that offer some low-code solutions, but based on our having worked on over 1,000 implementations, we rarely find a business process, and I would challenge anyone to look at a business process that's purely data-driven. More often than not, we find that there is some level of content, either in documents, electronic or in paper or in spreadsheets or somewhere else, that are involved either at the beginning, the middle, or the end of a business process. And many of the low-code vendors specialize only in one thing, and that they do BPM. And they don't really do the content, so they have to team with other vendors or kludge together different components so that they can deliver a complete holistic solution. Newgen, being an author of one of the leading ECMs in the world and one of the leading BPMs in the world, brings it all together with zero integration requirements. And that right there is an advantage and lower risk to every single organization.
Thank you so much, Tim. We have another question for Sriram, and we are just running short of time, so probably the last two questions that we'll take up. This is for Sriram. What key pain points does digital automation solve?
Should we call them as pain points or bottlenecks? Depend on the way we see towards progression of the shared service automation. Anyway, to answer the query or question, the top 5 pain points that digital automation tools solve could be like as what we are going to describe now. One, of course, bring visibility of operations, right from receipt of the transaction or receipt of the source at the organization level till they are successfully completed as part of ERP or any other application. Visibility helps in knowing how the transactions are moving, who is holding longer than required, why we are not able to achieve straight through processing, and what is the time taken, overall time taken for the end-to-end process to complete. So the first point is bring visibility. The second is about increasing compliance and audit. As digital tools ensure end-to-end automation of business processes, the flow of operations with who did what, when, and how is always available to backtrack and ensure stakeholder accountability is maintained as part of audit. So the first part is audit is taken care of. Second is this digital automation ensures processes drive transactions rather than people driving the transactions. Processes drive the transactions and people work on the activities through guided steps. This ensures that the compliance or operations are as per the defined business standard operating procedures or business flows. And this also ensures that there is no violation of the SOPs so that auditors come and start giving the non-compliances. The third most important is about the scenario of scalability or the kind of COVID kind of scenarios. Enable anywhere, anytime access. To ensure every stakeholder can participate and complete the action through any mode, anywhere, and through proper notification alerts so that on-time completion is taken care of. I'll say these are 3 top pain points the automations can bring in within the shared service. And of course, there are plenty of other things which we spoke about, tangible and intangible as well. Right, thanks.
Thank you, Sriram. And I'm sure most of the industry stalwarts we have today would agree with these are common pain points that they face. We move on to our final question right now. And this question is for Tim. And it's quite relevant given the current situation. And it's how can you deliver solutions during a lockdown?
That's a very good question. Newgen has always used a development methodology called ProAgile. That's a combination of both prototyping and agile methodology. And in using that, we've created prototypes and we use a global offshore team of people to help develop applications. So we have been perfectly accustomed for decades for using on-site and off-site resources for creating applications. And we were very quick to transition 95% of all of our employees working in a completely remote environment just within a matter of a week or so of the COVID lockdown. So we've been doing this for years on a sporadic basis. Now we're doing it full time with no problems whatsoever, no interruption, and we're delivering very high value solutions very quickly. Hope that answers.
Thank you so much, Tim. Sure. Thank you so much, Tim and Sriram. We really appreciate your time and valuable insights that you have brought here. Newgen will send across a copy of the recording to all the registrants. Those who were not able to share the questions today, please feel free to send them over via email. You can send them at info@newgensoft.com that I've shared in the chat window as well. Thank you again, everyone, and have a great rest of the day ahead.
Thank you and good day.
Thank you.